Joining us now is political analyst Paul Lisnek. Good morning, Paul.
Hi, Larry and Robin. Good morning.
Trump had to know she was going to try and bait him. Talk about the fallout from that, because it seems like he took the bait.
Look, I think he would have been better prepared for it if he had done more formal preparation for the debate. He told us that he wasn't preparing. I didn't believe that. But as I watched him last night, I thought, you know what? Maybe he's really not preparing. We know that his staff told him, stick with policy, don't go with insults. He sidestepped that. But you're right. It certainly had been reported in the media that she was going to bait him, and she did in a host of ways. The truth is, I think when it comes to going after crowd size or some of the things she went after, these are things that are going to trigger him, and there's no way to sidestep it. So to that extent, she was successful in her mission to get him.
There has been some criticism that maybe the moderators fact-checked Trump more than they did Kamala Harris. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've said that on our earlier, Robin. First of all, I'm going to give these moderators credit for at least doing some fact-checking and some question repetition when a question wasn't answered directly. We didn't get that in the CNN debate by design. So here I think people were happier to see the follow-up. I think it is true that they went after Trump a little bit more. But when you look at the number of based on fact-checking from reports from CNN, for example, he lied over 30 times. She lied a couple of times. So there was perhaps more to do for the moderators. But that being said, they did give her a slide on the Afghanistan question where she didn't talk about the 13 soldiers who were killed. They didn't go back and follow up on that. So, yeah, they fact-checked, maybe tougher on him. Maybe he deserved it.
And she also didn't really answer the flip-flop question. Why didn't Trump go after her on that?
That's the preparation, Larry, that I'm talking about, because you're absolutely right. When she talked about fracking and some of those issues came up, he could have been prepared by his staff to say, here's some details, here's some ways to go after her on those issues. And he always reverted to, I kind of lost count in how many answers he simply, no matter what the question was, went to millions of people coming across the border, whether it was relevant or not relevant to the question. That was going to be his mission for the night, was to talk about border crossings. She stuck with the fact that her values haven't changed, but these are her current policies. And look, the bottom line here is Trump supporters are going nowhere. Harris supporters are going nowhere. This is about those potentially independent or at least undecided voters, about 70,000 of them across 5 states or so, and what they think. Did they see Harris as presidential? Do they like where her policies are today as opposed to perhaps where they were 4 years ago? If you're going to talk about switching policies, that's something both of them and almost every politician could get hit with over and over again.
And let's talk about what happens in these final days. Back in 2016, 2020, Trump made up ground by doing these rallies. What happens on both sides in the last sprint after this debate?
It's a good question, because you remember Harris has only been in this election for 5 weeks or so, so it's very different from anything we've seen in the past. My hope for her is that she will do more press interviews, one-on-one and otherwise. She needs to speak to the press more. The fact that she's challenged him with debate number 2, you know, you can respond how you want. She didn't win and whatever. But the truth is, if he doesn't accept that challenge, it's going to look like he's afraid to go up against her. So we may just see a second debate going forward. For him, yes, he will continue to do his rallies. He'll do what he always does. And I've noticed, too, I watch all of his rallies, and there does seem to be a less level of enthusiasm, even on his part, for all of those. So we'll see whether he fires people up going forward. So I think it'll be more of the same from him going forward. And for her, she's got to talk to the press. It's just critical that she does that. It's time.
All right. You can watch Paul every Sunday at 9 a.m. for the WGN Political Report. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, guys.